friends, Maestro here, bringing you another episode of my favorite podcast. As you can see, we're doing a crossover guest. It's not even a guest. This is the co-host episode with the one and only JillFit. And we are here today, we're going to jump right into it, to talk about BossUp. I'm going to flip it right over to Jill. And the question here is, for those of the folks that maybe or somehow don't know what BossUp is, can you give them a little rundown?
Yeah, I'm so pumped. And it is a co-host. I love how when I mention you on my podcast, I'm always like Maestro, and then you mentioned like Jill on yours, and it's just like people
Let's
just
say Jill.
know. We're guest hosts.
That's it.
So pumped to be here and just so excited for this episode to share with you guys a little bit about BossUp. BossUp is a 2-day live event that we're putting on for women this October here in Los Angeles, specifically Redondo Beach. It is October 10th and 11th. And y'all, this is actually the third, believe it or not, the third. I won't even say annual. Are you able to say annual if it's not every single year? It's like every other year.
I don't think so.
It's the third event that we've put on. BossUp is going to be the biggest one, the best one. And y'all, the reason we're doing this is because Maestro and I have been to a lot of industry events. We've been to a lot of health and wellness events, a lot of movement events, a lot of online business events. And, while we have a lot of colleagues who are doing really great work, we have not seen something like this in the space. An event for women, by women, all about stepping into their power in online business and really what's working now for female-owned business brands. And so we really wanted to do this, bring in guest speakers for the very first time, and share with you guys just the latest and greatest. I mean, Maestro and I are in the trenches all the time with our own clients. I don't know how many clients you have each month, but I'm talking to like over 100 business owners each month, all female, and excited to share with you guys exactly what's going on. So we're going to be sharing strategy. We're going to be having some community stuff. There's going to be lunches every day. There's going to be a little, what do we call it? A happy hour event. And really, we wanted to talk about just the power of being in the room. You guys know that we've done several episodes, both of us, on the magic of being in the room, going to live events, hosting live events. And y'all, I'm just going to say it. Attending a live event is a 1%er action. I can do a whole episode on this. This is like, have like a short list of things that I consider to be 1%er actions that business owners, and the reason why I say that, when I say 1%er, I feel like people think it's like economically, like you're the 1%. Yes. It's not that. It's doing the thing that most people are unwilling to do. And I can trace back some of my biggest collaborations, some of my biggest money-making opportunities, some of my best friends even from live events. And it's one of those things that once you go to one, like, I don't even know how many repeats we already have coming to BossUp. I think some people have, this is their third one. Like people just like repeat. But once you come to one, you're like, oh, why was I even considering not going? And it's so hard to get over that like activation energy. I know we have a lot of moms in our audience, a lot of people who have to get childcare. Maybe you guys are trainers, clinicians, maybe you have to miss work to be there. And so when I say it's 1%er action, it really is just that thing that so many people opt out of because it's so simple to opt out, right? It's like, oh, I'll catch the next one. Oh, maybe next year, maybe when I'm more ready, maybe when I'm making more money. There's an endless amount of excuses to opt out. And those are all valid. I totally get it. It's a lot of things, which is why when someone does come and someone attends and someone goes out of their way to make it to a live event, I mean, I never want to belittle that because it's such a huge deal. And that's all before you even get to the event. Like once you get to the event,
that's the decision. Yeah.
It's magic, right? And so I can trace back just even some of my biggest all things that have regressed my own career from going to live events. And once you go, like you just go, like you're just like, okay, now I go to live events now because there's so much magic of being in the room. Not only what you learn, of course, but just the connections that you make, just being there, like you leave fired up. And one of the best things about BossUp, which I really think, and this is your influence for sure, because you know me, like I'll just go and I'll just like teach my ass off for like 2 straight days. Give me a fucking whiteboard, like it's on, like we'll just go. But I think one of the best things that you do, and this is why I think we make a great team, is that you're always focused on them implementing. And I think that that's really one of the key differences with us going into BossUp and the intention that we have is, yes, we want to knock your socks off. We want you guys to leave with your minds blown. But at the same time, we don't want you to like fucking go back to your regular life and not implement anything. And so one of the things that we're really focused on at BossUp is making sure you guys have what you need, like strategic action steps. So it's not just like rah-rah. I mean, it's the opposite of rah-rah. We've all been to those live events where you like someone like tells their whole life story and people are crying and like you're moved, right? It's like a TED talk, but like you leave and you're like, I got nothing out of that. Changes. No actionable steps. So I would be curious how you see this. And obviously you've been to a lot of events, you've spoken at a lot of events. How do you feel like BossUp is different and better than maybe some of the things you've been to?
100% piggybacking on a few things that you said. Number one, it's the tactical side. And we've really emphasized that every time you run a live event, whether it's the live events we do for for Legacy or if it's BossUp, we're just like, yo, you're going to walk away with actionable items and you're going to actually do stuff while you're there. This isn't just going to be a rah-rah fest. This year in particular, and you slid it in there, and this was a change that we actually made after we launched it. It is female only. When we first launched it, it wasn't. We were just like, here's BossUp. And we didn't specify that. And then Jill and I sat with it and we're just like, no, let's actually do this. There is something very different about the energy in the room when men are in the room. And I'm not a man hater. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. But I don't give a fuck. But we want people to be able to show up, be able to connect, and be able to implement. And it's not just a rah-rah fest. And so we made that decision. We're like, actually, no, we want people to show up and not feel some kind of way, not be holding back, because these events can be so incredibly powerful. So we made that switch. So that's one of the ways that it is different. The second way that it's different is that, again, particularly this year, Jill and I have spoken on a lot of stages. And one of the things that I have learned, and my goal in 2020, right? That was 4 years ago. My goal in 2020 was I just wanted to talk on stages. I love fucking talking, but I was like, I want to be on a stage and talk. And I got to speak in 2021, whatever it was that I went to ConvertKit. And when you speak on these bigger stages, the curtain gets pulled back, but metaphorically and actually. And the speakers then. You get to see who the speakers are. And sometimes people are on stages because they've paid their way there, or they're on stages because they have a big following, and all that the host of the conference cares about is getting seats filled, right? Getting asses into the event. So they'll invite someone that has this massive audience because they're like, well, they'll get people here. That person could have a fucking failing business. That person could be all smoke and mirrors. And sometimes that's the case. And we know this because I know the people. And I'm like, I love you, but also your business and making no money. So it was incredibly important to both of us to change that narrative. Right? This is an event where, one, we are paying our speakers, because little known fact that maybe you listening to this or watching this don't know, oftentimes when you speak at an event, they don't pay you shit. They don't even say we'll pay you an exposure. They're just like, hey, will you come to this? And then like, will you fucking sell it for us too? And I'm like, wait, what? And sometimes you go because you're friends with them, you like the community, but this is people's time, right? So number one, we are paying our speakers, but number two, we wanted to have an event and inviting people that are actually doing the thing and they have successful businesses, right? So the speakers we have coming in, we have Rachel Strickland, we have Dr. Jennifer Hutton, we have Dr. Uchenna Osai. They're not specifically coming in to talk about business strategies and tactics. Like Jill and I, is what we fucking do. But they're going to speak about more so what it takes to become someone who's willing to do business differently. All right. So that's the third thing that makes BossUp different, is that it's not just about the same old bullshit and tactics that sound sexy and tactics that like you can just read that like aren't actually working right now. This is actually how you're going to succeed. This is getting objective. This is getting clinical. This is talking about things that people may find boring, but it's the stuff that's actually going to produce the results that you want. That in mind, we know some people are kind of sick of what they're seeing online. They have something to say, but they're a little bit scared to show up. And so we wanted to bring in speakers that were like, hey, they're going to talk to you about that side of things. This is how you become the person that you want to be as this business owner. This is how you become the person that's going to be willing to do business differently. So I think there's a lot of fronts that, make BossUp different, especially this year as compared to other things that are out there, and even as compared to previous years. And that's why, we have the guest speakers coming in. And so like Jill said, I'm incredibly stoked about this. Like this has kind of become a passion project. It's not just, I'm always excited about being in the room, but this has definitely become something that's on my calendar as a passion project of I want people in the room. I want new people in the room. I want people that have never gone to conferences before. And spoiler alert, we are going to spoil you for any other conference you go to after this, because the goal isn't just to make a sale. The goal isn't to just have you there and take your money. The goal is to have you there and help you become the owner that you want to be, decide the direction you want to go, and give you the actionable steps to actually get there.
So good. And maybe a little bit of backstory for folks is because you and I have been on so many stages, there seems to be a, what's the word, like sort of a formula that a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
conferences have where, like you mentioned earlier, they bring in like sort of a big name, someone who has a big following. And, we've spoken at these events, but they're all very similar. And even a lot of the strategies that they share is like kind of very similar. I mean, I remember being at conferences and being at more of like these sort of like, motivational, like you excited type
Yep.
conferences. And people leave and they're like, I'm going to change the world, which is great. But then they have no idea how to do it. And again, you're listening to someone's life story and you're listening to people's their transformations, and like they're telling your story, and like you're in it because of storytelling, and it's so
Storytelling. Yes.
yeah, it's storytelling. But it's like at the end of the day, when you leave, like we want this to be like a 2-day business event. Like you leave with shit to do in a book, and you like know exactly what's coming down the pipeline for yourself and for your business, like goal setting, stuff like that. So it's
Absolutely.
not just going to be, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't really feel like either one of us are that motivational or inspirational, but we know our shit
No.
backwards and forwards. And
That's
that's really what we want to bring to you guys. We see a lot of these conferences, and for lack of a better word, they're like pretty bro-y, to be honest. And like, I can definitely bro out with some of the more like, marketing strategies and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we really want you guys to be surrounded by folks who want to lift you up, who want to support you. One of the things I'll never forget from the last time we ran BossUp, it was 2 years ago. And at the end of the second day, we had to wrap up, and it was like 5 o'clock, and everyone's kind of like still milling around. Y'all, everyone stayed for like another hour after we were done to talk to each other, not even to talk to
best.
us, to talk to each other, people they literally just met the day before. And someone came up to me who is a PT, and she said, when I go to PT conferences, people can't wait to get the fuck out of there. They're like
Immediately.
running out the door because it's just so boring. It's so dry. It's so like not applicable.
Immediately.
They're like, they were like, I go to these things for CECs. I sit there, someone
Mm-hmm.
lectures at me for an hour, and then I like can't wait to get the fuck out of there. She's like, this is wild that people are still like milling around, talking to each other. No one wants to leave. Like the hotel people had to like kick us out at like 6 o'clock because we just were hanging out. Yeah, because people really want it. And so I really think there's an opportunity for this kind of event. And it's not going to be that 1,000-person event where it's like a massive stage, and like it's just not gonna be that. It's gonna be way more intimate. You guys are gonna get to meet each other. You're gonna be able to have conversation with Shantae and I. You're gonna be able to be at a group, like be at a table with people who are just like you and at the space that you are at. One of the things that I have gotten a couple of questions about, and I want to ask you this. A couple of people have asked me like where they need to be in their business to come to BossUp. So what would you tell someone? Because can be a little bit intimidating, especially if you're going alone and you've never been to one. I mean, we have people who are like moms who have like literally never traveled alone, like come to these things.
Yes,
So, and of course we always, make a huge deal of that, but that can be really intimidating. If going to your very first event and walking in and there being like 100 other female business owners, and you're like, oh my God, am I good enough to be here? And we have all these like weird, like sort of shame and, worthiness, things that come up for us. So what would you say to someone who's like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for that?
Totally. So that person that's asking is likely more in the beginning phases of their business journey, and that person is perfect for this. I want people who have any inkling of maybe I want to do this. I want them there. There's no prerequisites of like you have to have this in place. One of the things that I love when running programs with Jill is, and any program in general, honestly, is if someone comes through and they decide that they don't want to do the thing because they've learned, and they're like, actually, I've seen it. I'm like, that is super valuable too. Right? Incredibly, incredibly valuable. It's not the majority of people by any means that they're like, oh, I hate this actually, but someone will always get something out of this. So if you're in the very beginning phases of this, I'm going to highly encourage you to do this. I hate to be like, I did it, you can do it too, but I will give a little story here, a little anecdote of when I first was starting the online space. I made an affiliate sale for this guy, Danny Mattei. If you're in my audience, you know Danny Mattei. And I used that money to go to ConvertKit, their craft and commerce conference. And I went by myself. And it was incredibly, incredibly transformative. And one of the main reasons is that you realize that you're not alone. I kind of take that for granted now, being further along. And also, like, Jill lives literally up the road from me. Lex lives here with me. And so, we're in it. I'm surrounded by people that do this. But the reality is, many of you listening to this, you don't have that. You don't have that support system. You don't have other people that are just like, yeah, I'm doing this quote unquote weird thing as well. If you were to go tell people what you do, other moms and other people in your community, they're like, what? You do Instagram? Like, what the fuck? They don't get it. And there's something incredibly, incredibly powerful, right? Changing your environment. There's the power of that in terms of the growth, in terms of achieving your goals. So if you're in the very beginning and you're thinking, I don't even know, you should be there. It's my guess that if you're more advanced, you're not on the fence about this. But if you are more advanced, yes, this is also an event that I want you to attend, because there is going to be strategy. So if you're in the very beginning phases, a lot of this shit's going to go over your head. That's fine. Totally, totally fine. You go, and Jill said this a few times, and I do want to highlight it. The friendships and making, connections with other people, that is so valuable, and that will carry you through your career, because it really is something that I take for granted just because Jill is right here. But most people don't have that, right? So if you're in the beginning phases, yes, we want you there. If you are more advanced, you will then be able to implement and understand the actual strategy and the tactics that we are going over.
I honestly think out of the tickets we've sold so far, I think like half of them are repeats. Like, I honestly do think that like half of the people who have already enrolled came 2 years ago, and they're just like back for more. Like, y'all, that's like unheard of, where people just go back to the same event all the time. So I believe in that. I'm just so excited about that, and to see everybody, and people are messaging us like, coming again, like cool.
And they've signed up for the VIP options.
Yeah.
We've had some people, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Love it.
I love it.
Well, yeah, like, so tactically, you guys, the reason we're kind of doing this episode is obviously to give you insight into BossUp itself, what you can expect, things like that, but also to let you know that we are getting ready to close up the early bird pricing. So this episode is dropping on Monday, July 22nd. And next Wednesday, the 31st, is when we are closing down early bird pricing. A lot of you guys have been like kind of circling, asking, getting, funds together, checking with a spouse. Like, we've been getting a lot of that. So we wanted to give you a little bit of time to get all of that in place, but we do have 2 levels, at least at the time of this recording. We have like kind of a general admission, and we also have a VIP level. And I think we only have a handful of VIP spots left. VIP is just a little bit more of one-on-one with Shantae and I, doing like business, deep dive business. We actually have an additional day, so you'll come
a whole extra day.
Whole extra day. Well, half a day plus dinner with us. The first day. So you could come in like the Wednesday morning, and then it's all Wednesday afternoon, dinner with us. And then of course the event is Thursday and Friday. So we only have a handful of those left, but I just love seeing people who came 2 years ago and they're like just coming again. So who is this not for? I mean, I have my idea about who this is not for, but what would you say?
I would say right off the bat, it's not for the person. It's kind of our criteria with legacy. It's not for the person that's looking for a quick fix. It's not for the person who is looking for someone else to do the work for them and like, just give me the answers and tell me what to do. It's not for the person who is looking for shortcuts. It's not for the person who isn't willing to sit and learn and grow and commit to the process and understand that it takes time. It's not for the person who isn't willing to master the foundations, the fundamentals, and get in the weeds and exhaust all of those options first before saying what else, right? The person that's like, oh, I heard all of your podcasts and I read your post, but what else is there? And I'm like, have you implemented anything? It's not for that person. What about you?
Yeah. I think that I love that you mentioned the business foundations. Y'all, this is not like a traditional women's retreat. Like, this is not, we're not going to be, there's no like, maybe you haven't been to one, but I've been to them. We're not going to like be burning candles. There's not going to be any sort of like, I don't know, fucking, burning a message and giving it to source or whatever. Like, no offense to people who do that. Like, this is not us. So it really is for the person who is ready for actual strategy and tactics and to-dos and not vibes. Like, no offense, but like the vibe is take action. Like, the vibe is like, the vibe is do the thing. And so if you are, maybe you're scrolling on social media and you see all those people who are like, hey, like you need a money mindset or whatever. Like, look, that stuff is fine. But at the end of the day, like, yes, maybe we, work on our mindset and personal development. Of course, that's part of our value system. But at the end of the day, it's like, are you ready to take action? And are you ready? I believe that this sets up somebody perfectly to have a huge 2025. Like that's why we position it in
Goal.
October.
Yeah.
We'll obviously share a little bit more about legacy when you guys are there, if you're interested in something like that. But really it's for anyone who is just ready to take action. Like that really at the end of the day is always our biggest ask. It's like, cool, like you can come and there's vibes, but at the end of the day, it's, are you willing to take action? And are you willing to do the fundamentals? One of the things that's really interesting, maybe you guys don't know this a little sneak peek of legacy, which is Shantae and I's mentor mind we run together, is the people who are in legacy, like they're so, what's the word? Like they're so clinical at this point. And I always like let them know this because this is not how most business coaches coach. Most business coaches are like, does it feel aligned? Does the offer feel like, we ask that in different ways, but it's like, it's very much like running an actual business. It's not like, I'm just going to launch something in my ass because it just like feels good. Like that's fine if you want to do that. Maybe that's like a flash sale, or maybe that's like, but if you listen to Maestro's show, if you listen to Fit Biz You, like it really is about understanding what it takes to build a business that's a lifestyle business. Like, look, we don't want you guys working we don't have to work like a million hours, but you have to do some of the things that businesses require, and businesses require you learn skills, and vibes ain't a skill. Right.
It's a business. I think that's one of the biggest things that is the difference is that, and I'm not sure if people have like fully grasped this, but like it is a business. Online business is a business. Maybe your friends are saying, "Oh, that's the little thing that you have."
Oh, it's YouTube or Instagram, and you're like, "No, it's not social media."
This fucking business. This is actually a business, and there's strategy with it, and there's structure with it. And one of the things that we talk about all the time, and we really position and market when we're talking about legacy, is there's predictability with it. Right. So perhaps as we're looking at this list of people who it's for and who it isn't for, this is for people that are willing to look this business in the face and be like, why isn't it working? If you're just like, I don't want to look at it because then I have to like actually do something about it. It's not for you. But for people that are like, I want to figure out how to make it better, or how to keep growing, or why it isn't working, or how to start any of those things, this is for you because there is structure to it. There is predictability to this. This is an actual business, right? I know it's online. I know you can't necessarily touch it and things like that, but this is a business. And we're having this conference for people that are ready for that and for people that are wanting the technical side of it. I'll say one more thing with that. In running a business, what Jill and I are doing right now is running a business. And we've done this before with other episodes when we've been pitching things and launching things. And we're very transparent about like, this episode is about BossUp. It's not a bait and switch. It's not like we're hiding it. One of the mantras that I have is how they reach you is what they'll teach you. Jill and I always show up with 1,000,000% transparency and 1,000,000% confidence. And that is the thing that we look to instill and teach the people that we work with. That is what we're looking to impart with this conference so that you can show up with whatever it is that you're selling, whatever it is that you're doing, and have that confidence, have that strategy, have that structure to things and market things, right? Unabashedly, 100% confidence around that. So if you're wondering what it's like to work with us, what it's like, what we'll be teaching is like this, because there's nothing hidden. It's right here. This is
I know people are always like, you're the exact same as I thought you would be. And I was like, were you expecting something different?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of, to your point earlier, there are a lot of smoke and mirrors in the space. Yes. And, we were very conscious when we brought in guest speakers that it wasn't about, let's just get these massive names and let's ask them to promote for us. By the way, you guys, we haven't asked our guest speakers to say one thing about it. We just want them to be there to share their genius. Like, it's not about like, we need to have the most people in the room, butts in the seats, and like, we're going to go into debt. Like, we just really want this to be an amazing event for the people who are hell yeses for it. And really, that's it. Like, at the end of the day, you have to be someone who's ready and excited to see what's possible for you. And if you are that person, you're a hell yes. And it's the same thing we would say if we're launching Legacy is like, we're looking for hell yeses. We are not in the business of convincing. That's just not, at all what we're. No. And really, when we talk about transparency, this is a big deal. And we'll talk about this and we'll kind of share our strategy with you guys at BossUp. But when we talk about transparency, there's no better way to keep like your energy just clean. Like it's just clean energy. It's just like there's no bait and switch. There's no manipulation. There's no DMing people, cold DMs. There's no
Oh
sales
my
scripts.
God.
There's no like bait. And there's no like some weird, like,
None of
backwards
it. There's
thing
none of
where you're
it.
trying to trick someone into, it's just like, look, we're looking for people who want to do this. And if you do, you are going to go hella far if you have the right strategy and you have the right people in your corner. And obviously,
Yes.
you'd have Maestro and I in your corner, but you'd also have everyone else who's in that room because y'all, we attract people like us. So if you're attracted to this energy, the people who are going to be in the room are attracted to the energy as well. So when you have transparency, you attract exactly who you want to work with. And this is like a little bit of a business lesson, but you do attract the people. And so if you're like, oh, I wonder if it's for me, but this is resonating for you, then it's for you.
That's for you, 100%. Can you give them another little sneak peek into strategy? So we are dropping this episode. It will come out July 22nd. The event is October 10th and 11th. Can you talk a little bit about why this episode coming out now and kind of the marketing around that, why we do that with a live event?
Sure. Yeah, I think probably both of us have done podcast episodes on this, but live events are a little bit of a different animal. So if you've noticed, Maestro and I have not been talking about BossUp like every single day on social media. Like some people do that. We have friends that like just if they're running a live event in like 6 months, they talk about it every single day on their social. For us, it's way more about like selling hard and then being off. So just obviously because we don't want to fatigue you guys, but we also don't want to fatigue ourselves. Like where it's very much like there's a lot of strategy behind how we launch this thing. And so live events are a little bit different because it's not like you sign up and then we're starting tomorrow. You have to travel, you have to make hotel accommodations, travel accommodations, get childcare, whatever you have to do in order to be there. So that's why we're doing this podcast episode months in advance, so you guys have the time to do that. But when we're launching something we launched it like 8 months out or 7 months out, you have to have little mini pushes throughout that time period. So not everyone gets fatigued. So what we did when we initially launched was we incentivized folks who were like hell yeses right off the bat. We gave everyone like 24 hours to get in at like the lowest, most affordable pricing. And then we went to early bird pricing. So a lot of people took advantage of that. And then we've been using it sort of casually in our calls to action. And then I had a conversation with Maestro a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, okay, we're going to be closing down the early bird in July. So at that point, people will have plenty of time to make arrangements, travel plans, schedule, all that good stuff. And we do want to incentivize people to take action now. So you can, of course, this is going to be open all the way until October. So in theory, you could definitely just literally buy a ticket the week of. But we want to make sure you guys get the best pricing, that you make it affordable for yourselves, and you have plenty of time to plan. So you're hearing this now. We're in our last like push period for a while. So the discount will be expiring. And I know we've had a lot of people, especially this month. I don't know if you've been getting it too. I've been getting a ton of DMs from people. There's whole conversations happening in some of my Facebook groups about it. People want to come to this thing. And so consider this your incentive to make a decision. Now, if the decision is no, that's fine too, but make a decision. Like to me, at the end of the day, that's why these prompts exist, is to be like, that's why a deadline exists, to be like, hey, make a decision. And it doesn't have to be yes. We want it to be a yes, but just make a decision by the deadline. And so then maybe we'll have one more push period between now and October. And obviously the price won't be the incentive because we're expiring the early bird rate, but maybe we'll do something else. But for the most part, we don't know. We haven't thought that far yet, but we are excited. So from a strategy perspective, super transparent with you guys, but we do want to give you plenty of time to plan. So that's why we're doing this push months out.
One of the reasons I had Jill just go through that, and this is how we tag team, and we're very, very, very strategic with the teaching. Everything is outlined because, like Jill said earlier, if I just let her go, then your head will fall right off and just explode. She's going to teach you so much stuff. So it's very structured. And the thing with that is, I'm going to circle back to the question that Jill had asked about, who this is for, who this isn't for. If you are overwhelmed by the thought of online business or all the things that you could possibly do in online business, or if you're worried about being overwhelmed, then I want you here. You need to be at BossUp, because one of the things that, and I'm just going to toot our own horn, that we do very well, is telling you what the actual dial movers are. Anything could be made important by a good marketer. Like they'll have you thinking this bullshit over here is the number one thing that you need to do, and that's because that thing makes them money. them selling that thing makes them money. Not even that thing. Them selling that thing makes you money. Makes them money. One of the things that we are so adamant about, perhaps to the point of frustration with people, and if you're a coach listening to this, I know you know it. This is when you're fucking hammering the basics to your clients and they're like, but what about? What's the best protein powder? And you're like, no, you don't drink no water. You don't eat any actual protein. This is what we're looking to do. And this is what we do with online business. What are the actual dial movers? We will teach you those things. We will highlight those things. And you bet your ass at the end of the conference, you will have written down what you specifically need to work on, because that is one of my superpowers, is having no problem being a pain in the ass and being like, what are you working on? What's the one thing? And then do we send an email out a week later? Yes, we do. Right? Because at the end of the day, one of the things that I experienced with being on stages, because I actually am very good at motivating people. I can get people up and they get excited, but it's such a letdown to me of being on those stages and knowing in my heart and in my gut and my soul that nothing's going to change. That people are just going to go home and then go back to their life. And I'm like, good, I'm happy for you. But also, I want action. It's funny. I actually did a story yesterday and I shared that I was making clips for social media, and I shared the software I use. I was like, before you ask, the software is Descript, and if you want to, make clips for Instagram. And one of my Insta homies, he's a fucking really funny guy. He was like, thanks for sharing this information with us, and none of us are actually going to use it, but we will ask for it. And I'm like, exactly, because you already know people fucking ask, but I'm like, you're not actually going to fucking do it. It is so important to both of us that you actually take action. And that is what we structure this around. That's also why we don't look to teach a million things, but the things that we do teach you are the actual dial movers, are the things that are actually going to move your business forward, that are actually going to get you clients. There's so many sexy things out there. If I hear one more bullshit about make a funnel, I'm like, what are you talking about? What are we doing? But if I hear one more bullshit about, I'm just going to run an ad and I make passive revenue and I have no audience, I'm just going to make a course. No, you're not. And I know that Jill and I both have put out episodes about memberships as well. We are here. It gets me riled up. I'm fucking old and crotchety. It gets me riled up. We are here to teach you the things that are actually going to bring you the success that you're looking for. And tying into that as what makes BossUp different, and Jill said it before about a lifestyle business, is that you get to define that success. So we're not going to be like, and here's how you make a $10,000 a month, and we're going to sell you on these results that are very subjective and, can't guarantee these things. We're going to say, hey, you get to decide what your outcome is that you're looking to get, and we're going to break down the process for you. And then you are going to go home knowing what the first step of that thing is, one of the most important things is for whatever your business is, wherever you are at, and what you need to do to get where you want to go.
So good. I have nothing else to say to that.
Yeah.
If you come to one event this year, make it BossUp, y'all. I mean, and I know it's funny because if I'm talking to people, if you're listening to this and you've been to a live event, then you probably want to come. You're like, dude, live events are the best. If you had a great experience at one. If you're listening to this and you've never been to an industry event and you're a little bit newer, I know that it can be a little intimidating. That's even more why you should come, because believe me, if you go to a live event like 500 people and you get lost in the middle and you're like sitting next to people who you never talk to again, like it's a totally, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a totally different fucking experience than coming to something like BossUp where everyone feels like, honestly, it feels like a family. I know it sounds like kind of cheesy, but that's how we make it feel for you guys. And so if you're going to come to a live event this year, make it this one. I can't talk about the pandemic anymore because we've been out of lockdown for a time. No. So
we are out of it. I want to piggyback on that. Because I had a really good conversation in the DMs today, not necessarily about this, but if you are concerned about going to BossUp, DM us. You want to DM? Don't send me an email because I'm not going to get back to it. I've already said I don't want an email, but you can DM me. You can text me 310-737-2345. I love a text. I want to hear the concerns, not so that I can be like, no, you're wrong, but I genuinely want to know what that would be. What is it that would stop you? Yes, it could be the financial side of things, but I do remember, and I'm hugely introverted. You folks that have listening, that you know me, I'm hugely introverted. And like going to these things, I'm like, oh God, I can run a room, but I'm also like, but I'd rather stay home. Going to ConvertKit completely changed the trajectory, and I'll say expedited the trajectory of my business. I didn't go and talk to everybody. I made actually one really good friend, Claire Pelletreau, who like I'm still very good friends with and doing all ads and things like that. That's her thing. But the courage it took is very real. And I want to hear if you have concerns around that. I want to hear if there's anything that I can do to move you forward with that. Because if there is any part of you that is like, I think I want to do this online business thing, I think I want help with this, I want Jill and I to be the people who help you. Right? I've been in this space long enough to get annoyed with some of the other stuff that I see, and I'm just like, it's time for me to say something. Like Jill invented online business, so she's like, I already been like, dealt with that. But I'm like coming to that, I have that coming to Jesus moment of like, yo, the stuff that's out there, I'll say it, is objectively not good. And my whole shtick, folks, this, is that I just want you to live your best life. Jill is doing the same thing. And I kind of push her to say this more because so much of what she does, actually, I'm going to push you to say it now. Can you talk about the importance, the significance that helping women has for you as it relates to the things you do and why you show up this way and why you coach?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so, it's funny because we kind of laugh at JillFit, like our unofficial tagline is like muscle and money, because like everything about our, so like if there's one word that encompasses the brand, it's power. And not power in like a, power hungry, like sort of, it's more like your power, like personal power. And for me, one of the most important things that we do, obviously physically powerful in the gym and things like that, but really it's financial independence. Like for me, that's one of my biggest whys. And it was the reason why I was able to leave a marriage that I wanted to get out of, is the reason I was able to move across country. And I talk to women all the time whenever I share these stories who say like, God, they'll either say, I wish I could have, or I'll never be in that position again to rely on someone financially. And I know this maybe sounds like a little bit of like fear mongering and whatever. And look, if you're in an amazing relationship where, one person's the breadwinner and you guys are good with that, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying it's important, at least for me and my brand, that you have something that's yours. Whether that's making $1 million or making $100,000 or making fucking $10,000, whatever. Have something that is yours, separate from your kids, important. Separate from your relationship, separate from maybe even your corporate job if you have one. Like, to me, that's really, it's more about, it's financial independence, but it's also fulfillment. It's also like, reason to get up in the morning. I remember like, look, I mean, everyone has a day one. First couple of years of JillFit, you're not making that much money. I'm fucking getting up blogging. My mom's reading that shit. Like, no, look, the first couple years of internet business are not easy. So you need to have a reason. You have to have a why for why you're waking up. And for me, especially post-divorce, it really is like, I want women to have their own money, period. And I know that's maybe a controversial statement. I know a lot of men don't like that statement, but like at the end of the day, even if you're in an amazing relationship where your partner is making really good money and you don't have to work, and we have people like this who work with us.
We do.
I want you guys to have the power to know that you have options. And Shantae talks about this all the time on her podcast, where she's like, if you have money, you have options. It doesn't make you better than someone else. It doesn't make you greedy. It doesn't make you some kind of shallow person. It's literally just options. And I believe that for so long, women haven't had options. And so it's a way for you to, it's a way for you to have something that's yours. And it's a way that's for you to have something that's fulfilling. And also, if you gotta go, you go. If you wanna, I mean, I know you've talked about your why quite a bit, and this really is it for me too. Yes, I want to leave my marriage, but also like I want to be able to provide my family. That's like a really big part of it. It's like an emergency fund. Like if something happens to someone in my family, like I want to be able to be like, no problem, I fucking got you. And I know that's really big for you too. We're both oldest siblings, so that definitely connects us, and we have that same mentality. And so I think that's really why a lot of the reason why we do what we do, why we keep legacy to only women, why we're having BossUp be women only. And so I think that's just a really important why.
Yes. If you need to rewind that, folks, and go listen again, because maybe you didn't know it, I do try to, anytime Jill and I have a crossover episode, I do try to like get her to say it, because I don't think people always know that. But
well, I always think, and this is maybe just so you guys, this is like a little business lesson. I always tend to think that when I say that, people take offense to it, because I use that story about how when I left my marriage, and it's like almost like, I don't believe me, I'm not like telling people they need to leave their marriage. That's not, but I think people think it's like me advocating for divorce, and like, no, I'm not. I'm like, if you have a great relationship, you have a great relationship. I'm sure it works well. I just feel like, what's the harm? in having a safety net. Even if you have someone in your life that does provide for you and it makes you feel safe financially, why not have a safety net? Why not have something that's just yours? Again, it doesn't have to be $1 million, $100 million, $10, whatever. It's just,
Anything.
what do you have that's yours? And I think that
Anything.
and nothing, as much as you love your kids, and I'm not a mom, so I'll stay out of this conversation, but for the most part, wouldn't you want to have something like that's just yours? And this is what we hear people say all the time.
Yours.
To us.
One of the coolest things that we see with legacy is that we get people from all across the lifespan. We don't have teenagers, obviously, but we look at people in their 50s that they have grown ass fucking kids, and they're just like, now is my time. Now is for me. That's huge. If that's you listening to this, we want you there. We want to help you so you're not fucking floundering around. Like, there's strategy for this, there's structure for this. There's a community for this. There are other people. I cannot emphasize this enough, and perhaps I don't have to, because if you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, I ain't got fucking nobody that understands, like, then you know the value of this. I'm on the other side of it. I'm like, everyone around me does this. If you don't have that, I cannot overstate the value of going to something like this. And one of the reasons I was just so passionate about doing, and what I'm saying now and doing this episode, is the whole shtick is live your best life, whatever that looks like. And if Jill and I can all help you with that and help you creating options and helping you with the strategy and the structure for that, we want to be the ones to do it. The nice part about a live event is that it's contained. It's 2 days. It's like the most efficient. So for those of you that are like, I'm busy, I got shit, I got kids, I got whatever it is, it's super contained. It's 2 days. Come learn, walk away with what you need to work on, and then you can decide if you want to do other things. That's fine. But super contained, super just direct. Unless we want to help give you options, give you strategy, open your eyes to things, give you support, help you create this network. And like I said, this has largely become a passion project for me, because I just see, and Jill sees this all the time, we get people that are just like, I signed up for this thing and I was burned. I signed up for this thing and I did not at all get what I thought I was going to get. I went to this thing and it was total bait and switch. And I'm just like, what? Immediately no. So we know, we've both said it, the best way to complain is to make something. So here we are for the third year, not in a row, but for the third year, making something, making BossUp, making it bigger this year, more people, more guest speakers this year. And Jill, can you one more time give us the breakdown of the days, the location, just the tactical logistical side?
But before I do, I have one more call to action for people listening. If you are listening to this and you've been to BossUp, if you came in 2019 or you came in 2022, I would love if you send myself and or Maestro a DM with your experience and what you would tell someone who's on the fence about coming. It can be anything. It can be like, it was the worst event I ever went to. Don't send us that, actually, but 5 stars only. No, I don't think anyone left with that. But
no one said that.
If you guys went to one of the BossUps, let's get involved. I would love, even if you guys just said a couple sentences about your experience and what you would tell someone who's on the fence, right? Who's maybe scared of the investment, scared of the travel, maybe feeling intimidated about the room, doesn't feel like they belong, a little bit nervous. Would love that, you guys. Awesome. And you can DM me at JillFit or Maestro, the Movement Maestro, and just let us know. That'd be awesome.
Huge.
So yeah, details. It's going to be October 10th and 11th. We are expiring the early bird pricing this coming next Wednesday, with the 31st of July. So the $200 discount will be going away. Y'all, we tried to make this as affordable as we possibly could for you too. So we want to make this like absolutely like no barrier to entry to get in. So we really want you guys to take advantage of the pricing, if the early bird pricing, if you're a hell yes. And then we're going to be in Redondo Beach, California, which is just a little bit south of LAX. So you're going to be flying into LAX. It's about a 15-20 minute Uber ride to the Shade Hotel. So all of the details are in the show notes. You guys can check out the link. All of it's in there. Venue, schedule, guest speakers, pricing, accommodations, all that stuff is in the show notes. But of course, if you have additional questions or you just want to get our take on if it's a right fit for you, feel free to DM us or text Maestro, but don't email either one of us.
Don't do it, please. It's going to go to the trash. I'm going to piggyback one more thing. I don't want to promise anything because I promised last time and then fucking rained. But in general, It's a very nice time of year in general. But more than that, and I've done episodes, Jill has done them as well, getting the most out of a live event. And we can link those in the show notes. Thank you, Courtney. But it is a nice thing to either come early or to stay later so that you don't feel so rushed with things. Oftentimes what attendees will do is they will stay the day after and just kind of gather themselves, regroup, take a breath, and then fly home. So if you have that luxury, you have the ability to do that, would highly, highly recommend. So if you're thinking about it, take the extra day. You will not regret it.
Love it.
Anything else?
That's it.
You good?
Super excited.
Super excited.
We really want to make this a no-brainer for you. If you're just craving community or craving other folks, you're craving actual strategy that fucking works, this is for you.
This is it. Don't forget, if you got questions, comments, concerns about coming, we would love to hear. We're not going to argue with you. I just want to hear what they are. So shoot us a DM. If you've already went, let us know what you would say to the folks who are
thinking about it.
The fence.
Only honest answers.
That's it. It'd be so helpful. We're good, Jill? You good?
I'm good.
I'm good. All right, folks. As always, endlessly appreciative for every single one of you. We know you could have been doing anything and you chose to listen to us. And for that, we are both endlessly appreciative. No specific call to action except for we would love to see you this October. If you're thinking about it, if any part of you is like, maybe, we want you there. All right? All right. Until next time, friends, JillFit and Maestro out.